Okay, so this is basically a sample timetable, some sample plan, a roadmap for JEE and NEET students. Okay, first I will cater to the JEE students. And I am considering that you are giving JEE for 2026. Now, number one, what are the study materials and books that you should follow? What are the resources that you should follow? Okay. How should you make notes? How should you make notes? And what should be a sample timetable for you? Okay. Today we will cover all of these things. Firstly, let us see what are about the study materials, books, and resources. Okay. Firstly, let's see about physics. What are the books, study materials, and resources? See, the first priority for you should be boards, because if your boards are gone, if your boards are messed up, then there is no point in JEE. So for your boards, if you are belonging to the ISC board, then you should follow Newton physics. For boards, if you are in CBSC, you should follow NCRT, NCRT exemplar, and SL Aurora. If you are from West Bengal board, then you should follow the Chaya Prakashani publication. Okay. Now, how should you follow every book? See, in boards, you basically have three different aspects to look upon, right? The first is theory, the second is diagrams, and third is numericals. So, for boards, make a notebook. So, here we will also do a count on how many notebooks we should keep. Number one is for boards. Okay. Acha. So what you will do in your boards notebook, you will first write the important definition and reasoning type statements and important points. Okay. Second thing that you will do is draw all the important diagrams and do all the numericals. The numericals will be from Newton physics. If you are belonging to ISC board, you will do the numericals from NCRT exemplar and SL Aurora. If you are from CBSE board, and you will do the numericals from the Chaya publication book if you are in the West Bengal board. Okay. What comes next? Number two is your coaching material. If coaching materials, if your coaching has given you such materials. If not, then you can skip this part. Otherwise, you can just take the number 1 point here as the notes given to you by your coaching mentor. Right? Now, the next thing about coaching materials is if they have given you some kind of study materials, then comes DPPs and assignments, and then comes you should practice the tests at, at least once, and of course you won't have time to do it more than once. Do one thing always, that is when you get the solution of the tests that you have already given in your coaching institute, revise them and give the test at your home itself in a test environment. Don't sleep and give the test. Revise the solutions that are given, revise the notes again, and give a retest of the paper where you have done the mistakes. This will also help you to clear your mistakes. Okay. Now, what is number 3? Number 3 for JEE physics and NEET physics is what I recommend to students, that is HC Verma. HC Verma. Okay. In HC Verma, number one thing that you must follow, that is its examples. Number 2, its objective questions. And number 3, its subjective questions. Okay. Now, what is number 4? Number 4, importantly, is past year questions. Don't keep it for the last moment. Once a chapter is done in both school and your coaching institute, solve the past year questions of the examination that you are sitting for. That can be JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, or WBJEE. Next comes 2 important books that you should follow. Number 5, Cengage. It has a series of 5 books. And number 6 is Physics Galaxy. It also has a series of 5 books. It is a complete set of books. Plus, you should also follow Physics Galaxy's advanced illustrations in physics. It is also published by the Physics Galaxy publication. If you follow till point number 6, you are ready for JEE Advanced. Okay. Important things here to be noted is number 1, your boards should be perfectly done. Secondly, your coaching material should be complete along with the tests and DPPs. Okay. Then comes the objectives and subjectives of HC Verma. And HC Verma, remember, is very, very important. Then comes at least past 5 years, at least past 5-year questions. If you can do it up till 20 years or 40 years or whatever, it is great. Otherwise, at least 5-year question is important. Then you can solve Cengage, the concept application exercises, and if you have a lack of time, you can go for an option between Cengage or Physics Galaxy, whatever you will choose. My personal recommendation is Physics Galaxy set. Okay. Now, what about NEET students? I will come to that later. A little bit later, not much later. We will see that in this video only. Let's follow up again. Okay. So now we understood what are the study materials. And resources that we need to follow. Okay. One of the most important things here is giving of tests. Always give tests regularly in a regular basis. Okay. Now, number two is note making. And this part, note making, is common for all aspirants. Look, I'm making this very, very clear to all of you that if you are first telling that, okay, when I am just seeing the videos or the lectures, or when I am attending live classes, I am not making notes, then you are making the biggest blunder. What you have to do, you have to simultaneously take notes while attending lectures. Okay. Now, what is the significance of this part? See, in case of note making, what you do is, suppose the teacher is showing something or maybe explaining some concept on the screen. Okay. The teacher is explaining some concept on the screen. Let us say this is a computer. Okay. And it can be your mobile, it can be your tab, whatever it is. I'm just taking a broad classification of it, that it is some type of monitor, it is some device from where you are attending your notes. Then, as soon as the teacher has written Newton's laws, has given the heading in your notebook, it should be reflected. Simultaneously, it should be reflected. Okay? Do not wait for the class to end and then take notes. This is the biggest blunder if you are waiting for the class to end so that you can take the notes. No, this won't be the right thing from the start. You should take notes while attending the lectures. Okay? You cannot tell that I am attending the lecture, so I am just listening to the teacher. See, in any competitive exam, listening or viewing this entire thing is the least important. It is just 1% of your journey. It is just 1% of your journey. Okay? What you have to do is write and practice more and more. Write and practice more and more, as much as you can. And the minimum is 25 questions per subject per day you should solve. And I'm not telling about theoretical questions or subjective questions. I'm talking about objective questions, that is MCQs. 25 MCQs per subject per day you should solve. That is, if you are a JEE student, then it is PCM for you. If you are a bio student or a NEET student, it is PCB for you. You should solve 25 questions per day per subject. Every day. This should go on from day one till the last day. That is the day before your exam. This should be there every day, each and every day. irrespective of the fact that you are ill, irrespective of the fact that you have gone to some tuition or not, irrespective of the fact that it is a school holiday or a school day or not, it does not matter. You should do a minimum of 25 questions per subject per day. That means, and 25 questions, you should take about 1 hour each, right? So if you are not putting 3 hours of self-study in your JEE preparation every day or your NEET preparation every day, then believe me, it is hard to absorb, but it's not gonna be the cup of tea for you if you are not giving at least 3 hours of self-study every day. That is 1 hour for physics, 1 hour for chemistry, and 1 hour for mathematics or biology. If you have biology and an alternative subject, as an alternative subject, you have taken mathematics, I would just recommend that you solve at least 5 to 6 hours of mathematics if it is just your board subject and not there in your competitive every week. Every week, 5 to 6 hours of mathematics. Because even if it is not there for NEET students in their NEET examination, mathematics is important for two things. One is boards, and number two, for solving the questions in physics. Okay. Now, our next topic is a timetable. Our next topic is the timetable. See, one of the most important things here is whether you are a regular going student, a regular student in school, and whether you are just studying in a dummy school. So I will just classify it in two parts. That is school day, and another one is non-school day. Now, school day is just any day when you are going to a normal regular school. Okay, considering that the school is for 6 hours, I'm just considering that. Okay, and I'm just considering that it is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, what are non-school days? I'm considering the weekends, the holidays, the droppers or repeaters, or who study in some dummy school where you don't go to school, where there is no problem in attendance. Okay. So all of, if these are the criterias, one of these criterias are applicable for you, then you can consider the routine for the non-school day. Okay. The difference in the school day and the non-school day is that at this time in the school day, you are in school, which you can utilize more efficiently in the non-school day for this slot of time, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. So firstly, I would recommend that you do not get up before completing a minimum of 6 hours of sleep, but not after 8 hours of sleep. 6 to 8 hours of sleep for any student who is going to school is sufficient. And that also applies to those who are not going to school. 6 hours is the minimum, 8 hours is the maximum. Okay. Now, after all your activities in a school day, what you get, the time that you get after school, see, I'm considering that school is about 6 hours for you. Okay. So what is the time left? 10 hours is left for you, right? And this is what you devote to your studying. Okay, for non-school day, your study time is around 16 hours, or let's say 15 hours. Now, here I'm also considering that due to travel, due to eating and all, due to some form of entertainment, this 10 hours, I'm reducing 2 hours from here, and that makes it 8 hours. And believe me, if you're not putting 8 hours to your study, you are not going to get it. Okay. Now, what's the catch here? I am considering two cases here. Case 1, case 2. What are the two cases here? See, in case 1, I am considering that there are no coachings or tuitions at that day. You have gone to school, you have come back, and there are no coachings for that day. And case 2 is where there are two coachings for that day. Like I'm considering the two extreme versions. Okay. And I'm just considering that you are spending around 5 hours to coaching. So what you get here is 3 hours. You should give each hour to PC, M, or B, depending on which exam you're giving. If you're giving JEE, you give time to mathematics. If you're giving NEET, you give time to biology. So in these 3 hours, see, in physics, you give 1 hour. For chemistry, you give 1 hour. For maths or biology, you give 1 hour. All right. In these cases, what you have to do is revise the coaching notes and start and try to complete coaching homeworks or DPPs or assignments or materials. Okay. Now, if there are no coachings, that means what you have with yourself is 8 hours, and you devote that 8 hours, or you divide the 8 hours into a total of 3 parts. To a total of 3 parts. And before dividing into 3 parts, I would divide it into 2 parts. That is, firstly, boards, and then competitive. Okay. And competitive will have 3 parts, just as I said: P, C, M, or B. Okay. Now, in case of boards, see, in case of PCM, you give 2 hours each, and you give 2 hours to boards. Now, in these 2 hours of boards, one day you take up physics, one day you take up English, one day you take up bio, one day you take up maths, and you solve any one chapter from it, any one chapter from the board syllabus. Okay. And in this 2 hours each of competitive, what you have to do is 1 hour note revision plus 1 hour practice for each of them. So these 2 hours will be divided into 2 parts. First hour, you will revise the notes, and then the second hour, you will practice it. For chemistry and maths or biology, it has the same pattern. Okay. What will you read? What will you practice? I've given you the roadmap. For physics, till now over here. I'll give it to you for chemistry also. Now, but the chemistry roadmap will be given to you in the next video, chemistry, maths, and bio roadmap. Okay. Now, what about non-school day? That is for regular school goers. How will you study for the weekends, holidays, droppers, and whatever in the dummy school? Now, I'm considering that your study time is 15 hours. Okay. You have slept sufficiently, and I'm just considering a little time for your eating, your other works of the day. Okay. Here, I'm not considering any entertainment time because JEE is not for entertainment. Okay. Now, in these 15 hours, you have to divide it into 5 parts. You have to divide it into 5 parts of 3 hours each. Okay. 3 hours each. First, you have to complete your coaching material or homeworks. That is your first priority of the non-school day. Revise coaching notes and read the school textbooks. Okay. Now you have 9 hours left. In each of the 3 hours, you give PC, M or B a time. Okay. And in each of these particular hours in each subjects, you should give particular attention to the roadmap that I have suggested. Firstly, if you have not completed your board books, complete it, do its theory, make the notebooks properly. Okay. Then your second notebook, your second notebook should actually be your notes for JEE and NEET. It will only contain the notes of the subjects. Okay. Number 3, you will go for solving the study materials and your coachings materials, etc. One notebook for your coaching. Okay. You should keep one notebook for PYQs, and from time to time, you should keep one notebook for the books that are required. The books that are required, for example, one book for H.C. Verma, one notebook for H.C. Verma. Firstly, you complete it. You complete it at least a significant amount of chapters, like 10 to 12 chapters. If your 10 to 12 chapters of H.C. Verma are complete, then you go for Cengage or Physics Galaxy. If 10 to 12 chapters of Cengage or 10 to 12 chapters of Physics Galaxy are complete, then you go for the other one that you have not taken. If you have taken Cengage, then go for Physics Galaxy after completing 10 to 12 chapters of Cengage. If you have completed 10 to 12 chapters of Physics Galaxy, go for Cengage. If both are complete, then go for DC Pandey. There is a problem book for JEE as well as for NEET written by DC Pandey. You go for that. Okay. This will be a great, a great amount of preparation complete for JEE mains. It will be a complete preparation for JEE mains and also for advanced. If you complete the roadmap up till last, and maybe there is one book that others will suggest you, that is Erodov. I would also mention it here, but I would always say that only suggested questions from Erodov are required. You can just ask me. You can just follow the link in the description of this video. You will find a link to contact me. contact me for which questions are suggested from Irodov. But Irodov should only be completed or should only be considered to be solved only after doing DC Pandey. If your coaching institute or your teacher is solving Irodov questions now, then you should follow those as coaching materials. But from your own, extra questions from Irodov need not be done unless and until you are complete till this last step. Okay, so there will be lots of notebooks, but remember, they will always be handy for you at the last moment, that is 3 months before your JEE mains. You won't be in trouble if you follow this particular roadmap. Thank you.